Domani inizierà a Istanbul.
Tomorrow, the first World Humanitarian Summit will start in Istanbul, Turkey, aimed at reflecting on the measures to be taken to meet the dramatic humanitarian situations caused by conflict, environmental problems and extreme poverty. We accompany with prayer the participants at that meeting that they fully commit themselves to the main humanitarian goal, to save the life of every human being without exception, especially the innocent and the defenseless.
Gli innocenti e i più indifesi.
With those words of encouragement from the Supreme Pontiff, the first ever UN World Humanitarian Summit got underway in Istanbul, Turkey. A complete report compiled by Newsfirst and the University of Peradeniya on the issues faced by the people of Sri Lanka identified through the Gammedda door-to-door campaign was handed over to the United Nations on the sidelines of the summit today.
On the sidelines of the UN World Humanitarian Summit, the final report on the Gammedda door-to-door initiative, which looked into a plethora of issues faced by the public of Sri Lanka in urban, semi-urban and rural areas alike, was handed over to the UN Assistant Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, Kang Kyung-hwa. The report was handed over by Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited, Shevan Daniel. Incidentally, the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited is the only private sector organisation representing Sri Lanka at the summit. Speaking on the report, the UN Assistant Secretary General noted that she would assist Sri Lanka by informing the UNDP and the World Bank on the findings contained in the report, with the hope that the Sri Lankan people will benefit.
When the chairman of the Capital Maharaja Organization, Mr. Raj Mahendran, conceptualized the Gammedda concept many years ago, perhaps even we did not see the true depth of that vision. Today, the final report was presented to the UN Assistant Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs at the World Humanitarian Summit. We were determined to achieve this for the people of Sri Lanka. We cannot sit by and accept people dying of kidney disease. We cannot accept the lack of clean drinking water. We cannot accept the loss of life caused by the human-elephant conflict. In this day and age, why should we? Technology has progressed far enough to solve many of these issues. We just need the will to make it happen. This is why we have taken this effort to the world's highest international body, the UN. And of course, it is a testament to the hard work of the Newsfirst team and the University of Peradeniya, whose unstinted commitment to the cause has brought this campaign worldwide attention.
The opening ceremony of the Global Summit, convened by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon to address failings in the provision of humanitarian aid, was held today. Some 6,000 participants from 150 UN member states are taking part in the summit, including 57 heads of state or government.
We are all here because global humanitarian action is unprecedentedly strained. I proposed this summit 4 years ago out of concern for rising humanitarian needs and declining political will. Today, the urgency has grown. This is the 21st century United Nations gathering. The summit and agenda for humanity are based on 3 years of consultations. We created the World Humanitarian Summit in this unique and inclusive format because of the important role that people affected by crisis, civil society, NGOs, and others play in humanitarian action. We are here to shape a different future. Today we declare we are one humanity with the shared responsibilities.
It is a great pleasure to host the first ever World Humanitarian Summit of history and to host you in Istanbul. I hope that this summit will lead to auspicious outcomes for all humanities, primarily those hundreds of millions of people striving to sustain their lives under great distress. We present this summit to recognize very well that pain knows no color, race, language, or religion. We will never, ever close our doors, our borders to people and to humanity. I would like to underline this with great emphasis. We, as leaders and responsible individuals of the international community, can only succeed if we work under common principles and goals.
Iconic figures, humanitarian activists and advocates too address the opening ceremony.
The human consequences are sadly readily apparent.
The world must engage in fast, effective, transparent humanitarian responses.
The summit is billed as the first of its kind, bringing together government, civil society and the private sector. It aims to mobilize funds and get world leaders to agree on issues from better managing displaced civilians to renewing commitments to international humanitarian law.
Have you ever faced an impossible choice? Like having to choose between medicine or food for your family? Or which one of your children to give the only life vest to?
Millions of people are faced with impossible choices like these every day.
Every day we receive more news, more footage, more facts, and it's hard to know what to do.
But there is an answer. This May, the first ever World Humanitarian Summit is happening.
The Capital Maharaj organization is proud to be the only Sri Lankan company to be represented at the world's first UN World Humanitarian Summit.